How's it going, everyone? Welcome back. Hoping is having a lovely day. Bengals Panthers week 4. We entered week 4 and I said, hey, Andy Dalton is going to have 36-year-old Andy Dalton is going to have more wins than prime Joe Burrow entering week 4. Probably got some funky looks. But here we are, Andy Dalton carving up the Las Vegas Raiders last week, putting up big numbers. Doing any and anything he wanted with that defense, reminding us of prime Andy Dalton in the Bengals, MVP caliber Andy Dalton with the Bengals, showing out for the Carolina Panthers last week, coming in prepared, coming in surgical, and putting in work against the Las Vegas Raiders. And this is one of those things where, hey, it's been a while since Andy's been in a clear starting role, but we've seen this. Just last year, really, where Andy threw for 361 in a game against Seattle, where, it was that big game and then kind of just fell off the face of the earth. But we've seen this out of Andy where he's had big games and then kind of come back down. Is that going to happen, or is this something where we start to see the ball start rolling? Are we going to see Andy Dalton of old kind of find his footing? I mean, he's got Chuba Hubbard back there averaging over 5 yards per carry, looking very, very impressive. He's got weapons, Thielen, Johnson out there, guys that he can throw this rock to, sling it around the field. Are we going to see prime Andy Dalton, or was this a flash in the pan? Only time's going to tell. One thing we can be certain of is I think we're going to see prime Joe Burrow. I think we're going to see an elite, a lethal, a dynamic Cincinnati Bengals offense. An offense right now that's actually ranked 4th as far as offensive EPA is concerned. They just had the best offensive performance as far as EPA is concerned on the season last week, and they're number 1 in success rate offensively this season. The offense is clicking. The offense is humming. Jamar Chase is back. T. Higgins is back. Eric All Jr. is starting to look like a guy 3 weeks into the season, quickly ascending up this ladder. Mike Gesicki continues to do what we thought he would do, which is be a pass-catching threat in Cincinnati, find his footing and do what he does best, like we've seen back in prime Gesicki days. Zach Moss, still Bengals run game, trying to figure things out. But Chase Brown found his footing last week as well. A couple big runs for him as well. The Bengals offense, after last week against Washington, albeit they lost 38-33, is clicking on all cylinders right now. And they're going to go up against a Carolina Panthers defense. It's had a hard time stopping much of anything this season. They're going to go up against a Carolina Panthers defense kind of in the same boat as Washington. They don't get a lot of pressure on the quarterback. 5 sacks on the season. That is going to play in a big way in the favor of Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals, because when Burrow has time to throw the football, he will carve up, he will dissect any and every defense in the league. I expect another big game out of Joe Burrow. I think we see some more Jamar. We see some more T. I think the Bengals once again put up a 30 spot in this football game. The question becomes, what's going to be the determinant of this game is the health of the Cincinnati Bengals defensive line. They are not built for depth. Last week, Rankins down, BJ Hill down. Injuries to your starting defensive tackles, and then you're forced to start guys that cannot get pressure on a quarterback. They haven't had the ability to really stop the run. You're down to just one pass rusher in Trey Hendrickson, which they kind of are, regardless. Sheldon Rankins known for more of a pass rusher, so it does bring that added spice to the defensive line, but otherwise down to that one pass rusher. And again, we bring it up, Andy Dalton with time can be lethal. Andy Dalton with time can be a guy. So it's going to come down to this Bengals defensive line finding a way to find a balance between stopping the run and stopping the pass. And but we bring it up because last week the Bengals defense actually was exceptional at stopping the run. They had Bijan Robinson to under 40 yards in the game, but they were getting dissected and carved up defensively in the air because they was committing all out to stopping the run game, because they thought that's all we had to worry about. Jaden Daniels, little did they know Jaden Daniels was go out there and look like the best rookie in the freaking draft class by a mile right now, because that was a heck of a performance by that dude. Jeez, he was nearly perfect. Made every throw, it made every play he needed to. He was so smart with the football. Man, was that something to watch. That being said, what's Andy got for him? What's Andy got for him? And are we going to see, was it just Jaden Daniels having a perfect game, being a Heisman Trophy winning quarterback that nobody was prepared for? The week before they didn't score any touchdowns. They didn't punt, but they didn't score any touchdowns. Well, is this just a team that people aren't prepared to stop? Or is there massive problems with the Cincinnati Bengals defense? We can overreact week to week in the NFL, because the week before it was Kansas City Chiefs. They just about beat Patrick Mahomes. They held Patrick Mahomes under 200 yards passing. It looked okay. we got something to work on here. So now you go against the Carolina Panthers team, and this is where it gets interesting because once again, much like Jaden Daniels, you're not really prepared for this. You ain't preparing for Bryce Young. You're preparing for Andy Dalton. His offense isn't really built for Andy Dalton. So you can see some schematic changes, some play changes, some stuff you haven't seen, stuff you're not prepared for. Do the Carolina Panthers capitalize on that? Or do the Cincinnati Bengals finally find their footing? An 0-3 Cincinnati Bengals football team. An 0-3 Bengals team who, once again, they might punt once this game. I just have a feeling that this is a game Joe Burrow is going to take over. And the question once again becomes, can their defense get stopped? I think they need two. I think they need 2 stops all game, and I think Joe Burrow does the rest. Or they need to hold him to some field goals. 1 stop and some field goals can do the trick too, but I think Joe Burrow will do the rest. I'm going to say that these games in Cincinnati are going to start becoming a little bit more high scoring. I'm going to say Bengals 33, Panthers 27, and an excellent game. Andy Dalton, by the way, 2-1 against the Bengals since leaving Cincinnati, but Andy Dalton with another homecoming against his former team here, wishing him nothing but the best of luck in his future. Wishing the Carolina Panthers, and I hope they figure it out. You bring in Bryce Young, hoping he's your guy. Things not looking the best, but it's patience. It's tough to bench a guy and bring him back, but this is a league where patience is hard to have, but you got to give these guys chances to grow and develop. And right now, it just didn't look, and it was a good call by the Panthers, I think. Bryce Young didn't look like he had control of that offense. It didn't look like he was confident out there. He just looked completely depleted, to say the very least. And that can happen when things start rough for a young quarterback. But that's why it's so important also to have that growth, that experience, that maturity on the sidelines for a year or two to kind of learn the playbook, gain the confidence of the team, learn the mechanism in the NFL, because it can be overwhelming. But he'll figure it out, hopefully, for the Carolina Panthers' sake here. We'll see, though. Nonetheless, love y'all's thoughts. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.